All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday Mastermind. Every Friday between 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Pacific, we are bringing value. We've got great leaders. This is a little different because I'm at an event, the Mastermind Summit, no pun intended, in Las Vegas. This event started in 2006. Stephen Marshall kicked off this event. I actually was doing a walk and talk with Ron Stowers, and him and I just started talking, and we realized we were both at the 2006 event. We actually went and did a Facebook Live at the scene of the first Mastermind Summit. I've got our keynote speaker who's closing it today, Phil Jones. I don't think we're going to have him for the whole call, but hopefully you can give us a few exactly what to say nuggets.
No, I just wanted to be here in the background. I just like to be furniture for the call.
Actually, I like his accent. It makes us sound really smart.
And we have, so I got my right hand man.
So
I got my right hand man, Don Gottlieb, former motocross professional racer. Now, how many years has it been since you were a pro motocross racer?
Actually, I'm racing pro in October again.
Oh,
wow.
Well, but when you were
in the 80s,
in the 80s, like competitive,
cross and motocross.
Used to race for Team Honda, complete badass mortgage guy. Todd, welcome back, brother. It's good to have you co-hosting today with me.
You know, it is great to be back on with all of you. You talk about the original Stephen Marshall event, Dave. We've been doing this since 2016, 8 years. We've been coming on here every Friday and hanging out. So I'll say some gratitude. Super grateful for you and this community, all of you who show up here Friday or watch us on video. It's just a blast. And of course, seeing Phil there, I've got serious FOMO. Serious FOMO. Maybe later I'll drop the hint of when Deborah and I are doing our next exactly what to say mortgage and real estate specific certification in her beautiful city of Dallas. Well, I shouldn't call it beautiful, but it's a city of Dallas.
So, by the way, it would actually be a good time to drop that nugget, knowing that we're not going to have Phil the whole time, and maybe he can add a little color to it. So tell us what you and Deborah are doing and anything you want to add.
Well, we just completed one here a few weeks ago in Santa Monica, which is where I am for the summer, and it was amazing. We had a full room, 11 mortgage professionals, 5 real estate professionals, and it's really a deep dive. It's 2 full days of not what we learn in the book of exactly what to say. It's that plus additional what would we call it, Phil? Additional ideas, words, phrases in a specific sequence, actually a total of 32 in a workbook that we work out of. And then we really focus on what mortgage professionals and real estate professionals are struggling with right now. And so it was just a great opportunity. I actually talked to the real estate agent who brought her team yesterday, and she just called me full of gratitude and said the level of confidence of her team since attending the certification has gone through the roof. And so we'll be doing that September 17th and 18th in Dallas. We're running an early bird special. I'll throw the link down below. The easiest way to get to it is just going through my personal toddbookspan.me link. You might have to put the www in front of it, and it'll get you there. Or if you have questions, just ask me and Deb. But I don't know what I missed, Phil. How would you make that sound even fancier?
I'll add a fun thing.
Wait. Before you go, I want to frame it and throw them a little curveball. So today, the theme of this mastermind is rethinking everything education and engagement with first-time homebuyers. And I have this thesis that if you can win with first-time homebuyers in this market right now, you can win with move-up buyers and you can win with everyone. I mean, so with that said, Why would a mortgage professional that wants to win with first-time homebuyers come to Todd's event?
Well, I know the answer to this because I've met 5 people that were at your last event while I've been here. And they've told me that what they've been able to go on and do as a result of the time they spent with you and Deb is to think with more intention about the moments that they step into and have more confidence in those moments to slow the process down, to slow the conversation down and help people understand what value really looks like. We're in a world right now where what people are trying to do is they're trying to present and package and position their value in the best way they possibly can. Yet what they're failing to understand is what value truly looks like to the other person. What the work in exactly what to say allows you to do is to ask more intentional questions to collect a better body of evidence so you can recommend the part of your expertise that is most relevant to support that individual in the decision-making they're working through at that time. First-time buyers have never been more confused because they've never had access to more information. And with that being true, What they need is an expert, but most experts aren't behaving like experts because the experts are showing up and throwing up all the reasons why they should be an expert, which just creates more chaos and confusion. Instead, a true expert takes the time to understand somebody else's circumstances first. And I think the simplest way to put this is in the medical industry, they say that prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. Same is true in the mortgage business. So what we should be looking to be able to do is to get into the mess with first-time buyers. Help them decide whether now is a good time to buy. Not be quick to judge and tell them all the reasons that they would be leaving money on the table if they don't. Not be the one that jumps and says you're a fool to rent. No rent shaming, which I think is some words that have popped up here a few times as well. And actually allow people to feel smart, capable, and good in the decision to sign a 30-year note at an interest rate that's higher than it has been at any of their recent historic times, but to feel really, really good about it because they're taking a mid or a longer term view and they're doing it with a partner, somebody like one of you folks, that's helping them know that they have their best interest at heart long term. And that's why I don't think there's a better time to be a mortgage or a real estate professional than right now, because the market is going to be segregated. You just get to decide which side of the line are you on. Are you on the pro line or you're trying to make a fast buck? And if you're trying to make a fast buck, chances are you won't be around too long.
So that was so good. I want to ask one more question. Then Brian, I promise we'll get into showcasing all your ideas and strategies.
I'm just
But
learning
Brian,
here. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah. And by the way, audience, if you liked what Phil just dropped, give us a reaction. Let us know what you thought of that. I know I thought it was pretty amazing. So we both have technology solutions that help first-time buyers, and all buyers, give more value beyond the transaction.
Yep.
So he's the CEO and leader of FinLocker, and I run MortgageCoach and Trust Engine, and our technologies are awesome.
Yep.
Like loan officers love them, realtors love them, but I feel like sometimes our customers just get into, oh, check out this cool app I do, and do kind of a feature benefit analysis on it. If you wouldn't mind for both of us, and just know that we're helping beyond the transaction.
Yeah.
His app is adding value to the consumer over the, forever. And our solutions are always helping them make better decisions. For any loan officer, for any realtor listening to this, when you have a really cool tool on an app, exactly what do you say?
Right. That's a giant question. I think there's a thinking framework to apply to it first, which is that it isn't like the technology's the star or the human's the star. What we're looking for is tech-enabled humans, is humans who have the ability to draw from that technology the right information when it's needed. A confused buyer can never buy. A confused human cannot make a decision. And technology has the power to both empower decision-making, make people feel confident, or overwhelm. The human element in this is to think about where are the moments in the life cycle of a client that you're going to be able to share with them the relevant information. Because you don't want to see the dessert menu until you've finished the entree, because you want to realize how hungry and how much room you have left in your stomach. And when you have information that you can tee up to people over time, be the one that can write the playlist, the set list of where that information shows up at the right time. And if you are looking to maintain clients long after transaction, then what you have to be able to do is to serve them the right information in the right way at the right time, which means it often needs to be presented with permission. So I'm just going to lift one tiny sequence of words from the book. Don't show up and throw up what you know. Ask somebody, would it help if? Would it help if you knew X, Y, and Z? Would it help if I could prepare A, B, and C? Would it help if I could do some research about blank, blank, and blank? And when the consumer says, yes, that would help, you can say, so the next step is, and you can show them that you're working on their behalf, not that what you have is this fast pass to rapid information, that you can package that information. And when you're delivering gifts to people, the way that the other person knows that your gift is a gift is when you put it in a box, you wrap it in paper, and you stick a bow on it. So you need to time all the giftable moments in the future of the relationship with clients, and then package the information that's available via the tech so that people receive it with the value that was intended and actually end up saying thank you. as opposed to, wow, that's a lot. I'll come round and check in on that later.
So that is the first clip of this call. We will have that edited because it was just a pure masterclass. And for everyone listening to this, and I know myself, I'm guilty of this. Like when I look at my app, I know what I think the appetizer is, what I think the main meal is, what the dessert is. And I usually, first of all, I describe the whole menu, even though they're not ready for the
Right.
whole menu.
I just wanted an amuse-bouche.
Yeah. And I have the order and sequence that I want to deliver it and that I think best shows the product, but that's not meeting the customer where the customer's at. And so I love that message. Ask questions, deliver just enough at the right time. And let's face it, do you like when you go out to a really great dining experience and they just like, okay, I need your salad order, I need your appetizer order, I need meal order? Or do you like the restaurant where it's like, hey, you got the drink, they just took care of enough, they leave you some time, then they come back and they get the salad order. So I love that analogy. And I would push all of us in the mortgage industry, don't show up and throw up. Make sure that you tailor and make sure that you teach and share in a sequence that's consumer first. And I'm not saying consumer in the broadest sense. I'm talking that specific individual consumer. So bro, by the way, you can stay on the whole call, or you can,
I'm going to let you guys crack on as well, because I don't want to
crack on. I like that. Crack on.
Crack on.
Well, what I will say about Todd and Deb's program, if you can afford the time to be able to do it, is if you are not converting at the level you would like to convert at today, if you've got past clients that you know you need to be able to reconnect with, but you don't know how to reconnect with, or that you're checking in, touching their base, or following them around in a way that is creepy, then you might be missing skills. And as we enter into a skills-based market, give yourself the grace of saying, well, hang on, I can relish rookie mode, I can learn some new skills, and I can learn how to elegantly slow down relationships and conversations so people can understand. The greatest cost to the mortgage business right now is all the people that are stuck in maybe. It isn't the people that have decided that they're ready to be able to make a move. It's the people that are thinking about possibly, potentially, perhaps making a move. Learning to talk to those people is where your hidden money lives.
Dude, you're
I
just
love
on
that.
fire.
Stuck in maybe. Stuck in maybe. It's so interesting because we talk about showing up and throwing up. And I know that the members of our community are the best of the best. And you know that what you have to say is so valuable. And we just want to shove it as fast as we can down everybody's throat. So I think that's really the biggest thing for me personally, not just in business, but also with my family and friends and in everything else that I do, is just that whole idea of slowing down. And even though I know what I know and I know what I need to tell them, is actually remaining in curiosity. I like you just said it, Phil, rookie mode, and then learning and walking through the process so that it's a more enjoyable experience. Because if you go back to Dave's example of dinner, right, we know that, we want a drink, we want a salad, we want an appetizer, we want our meal, we want a dessert maybe. And we try to shove that all to them up front versus just letting it go through the process. And for me, that's just been a game changer. And one of the things that I absolutely love to help share when we go through the process in a live exactly what to say certification.
All right, guys. You can stay. Okay, go ahead out. Take care, brother.
I'm going to get ready for today.
FOMO. There's so
Hey,
much
good to see you
All right.
guys.
stuff this week.
All right.
He's going to talk about Champagnozzi, and I guarantee it. It was amazing.
Yeah. So
See y'all.
now it is time for our special guest. That was a little bit longer of an opening than normal. So Brian, but I know if you're like me, that was pure gold having Phil Jones lean into us like that.
Yeah, I felt like I just got personal coaching for 15 minutes that is priceless. Well, unless you send me an invoice, of course.
Yeah, no, well, that's actually an idea. I hadn't thought of that, but now that you said it, I'll give you my Venmo. But
There you go.
But all joking aside, guys. So Brian Vieaux, I think this is the second or third time he's been on the show. He is truly a mortgage innovator. He has run P&Ls for Flagstar for like 8 years. I think that's where we met. I was selling MortgageCoach to Flagstar, and you were a decision maker and innovator. He's now leading a top fintech platform that is being used by a lot of what I would just call, it's not consumer direct, but it's lenders that really want to get to the consumer first. And it's lenders that are obsessed with not only delivering a great 30-day transactional experience, but delivering a 30-year customer for life experience. So he's in that space like we are, where it's like, how can we give more value to the consumer, and how can we give value to the consumer in a way that helps lenders close more loans and sell more homes. So Brian, well, first of all, before we get into the topic, anything you want to share about your backstory before I get into the topic?
No, I mean, I think you nailed it. I came at the technology much like, you did, from origination, right? From production into technology. And I think that the perspective of that is important. And, I think I threw on there, I'm in my 35th year in the industry. So been through a few of these cycles, got the war wounds and scars to prove it. And now, taking the learnings of, 3 decades in mortgage production and trying to apply it to technology that not only helps consumers, but to your point, Dave, really helps loan officers engage consumers in a more meaningful manner.
Love it. So I think you picked this headline. Of course, I'm really passionate, both at Trust Engine and First Home IQ, at educating and engaging first-time home buyers.
Right.
And we've got, over 100 people live on Zoom. Who knows how many are watching it on Facebook? And hopefully we'll get to 1,000 mortgage professionals watching this on our YouTube channel. So first of all, let's, make a case for why winning with first-time home buyer matters. And then, whether you want to share specifically how your product helps do that, or you want to share other ideas, start kind of delivering on the topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody on this session understands the importance of winning with first-time home buyers. I think what I would like to level set with, and we're all feeling this, is the duration of time that a first-time home buyer today is going to go from point of thought, right? Point of idea. Hey, what would it be like if I bought a home and owned a home, to point of transaction when they can actually do it. Today, it's probably 3, 4, maybe 5x longer on average than it was in prior cycles, for all the reasons that we're living in: inventory, affordability, et cetera. And so as I think about, and I loved how Phil, described the confusion factor. You add all the information that's coming at these first-time home buyers, these younger consumers, and then you spread it over now 6, 12, maybe 18 months that they're going through this readiness journey. You can't do it. They cannot do it alone. And technology alone will not solve that gap. And I don't know that an individual by themselves can solve that gap. I think you have to bring together, and that's why I loved when Phil described, you bring together the human element with the technology to kind of solve for this problem. So I firmly believe that the local, and I'll say local in air quotes, the local originator is the #1 best resource for financial education, financial preparation for first-time home buyers, without a doubt. Hands down, there's nobody better positioned to be that resource. But if you want to be that resource, you have to go in acknowledging that it is going to be a 6 or 12 or 18-month journey before there's, gold at the end of it, right? There's a reward. And not every loan officer is built to be in a situation that long, right? And so I just think that everything starts with mindset. And so you have to come into it with the mindset that you're going to serve first before you have the opportunity to earn or win, business.
So I know you have some of the top mortgage influencers that use your platform, and a lot of the value prop is they want to go from, a social media relationship with a consumer to they've got them in an app. And then you called out really broadly that, hey, it's 12 or 6 to 12 months. Although personally, I'm thinking like it's, it's 6 to 24 months,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it could be 36 months. And what is the incubation cycle that loan officers should think about with first-time home buyers? And then Todd, I'd love, because you've got real world experience with this. You lead one of the top mortgage teams in the country, and with Win by Noon, you coach on that. So if you could be ready to follow up, Todd, with any incubation processes, and let's and I've got some ideas too. I'll go last, but let's mastermind around that. Like, if I'm a local referral based professional, and I have a consumer direct strategy, which could be social media, could be some other marketing, but even the referrals I'm getting from realtors, what does the incubation cycle look like, and what are some best practices to optimize conversion of your entire incubation funnel?
Yeah, I guess for this one, I'll speak a little bit specific to the tools in FinLocker, which there are some other platforms that you can lean into. But what we find and what we see when we kind of look at this cohort of home buyers is they're using technology today to solve problems, right? They're, if they're, if tracking tracking their savings for a down payment is one of their goals and objectives, they're using tools like a mint.com, which I know has kind of been retired, but it's rebubbling up under Credit Karma. And if the consumer is wanting to address maybe shortfalls in their credit or find ways to, improve their credit over time, there's tools for that in the, Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, et cetera. Just about every bank has some kind of a data aggregation, budgeting, goal setting tool that's associated with their online banking tool. So the good news for all of us in the industry and for originators specifically is consumers at scale are using these tools already. The bad news based on some of these tools is if the consumer is getting into a Karma or a Rocket Money or a Zillow, if we want to get into other types of tools that consumers are also using, they're into an ecosystem that is in effect a marketplace, which just makes it that much tougher for you as an originator to earn that business, because now you're potentially competing with dozens of other financial institutions in that app, in that marketplace that are going to start to engage with that consumer. And so what I kind of think about is, as an originator, is how can I package or have a set of tools that are directly connected to my ecosystem, that bring that consumer into my ecosystem and keep them in my ecosystem through that nurturing gestation process. And I think we just all need to be, acknowledging that there are a lot of tools in apps out there for consumers, and if we have our own to put them in and keep them in, it's going to give us that much better a chance to win. Now, what we think about at FinLocker is, what are the tools that make sense for a consumer at various stages of that journey, right? And we kind of already hit on this. If Dave, I actually believed you're closer to correct than I was, saying this thing is probably 18 to 30 months of duration of someone getting through that place of point of idea, point of thought to point of readiness. And so a pre-approval for someone that's 18 months from being ready probably is not the right tool to put in front of that consumer at that given time. Maybe something that helps them understand their personal finances and how that correlates with their credit, and then what that means in terms of buying power or buying readiness. Something early is probably better to address at that point.
Yeah, I love that, Brian. I do think that's the whole key, is we have to really have a great incubation process, and you guys are using a tool for that. And so you have to be thinking yourself as a loan originator, how am I incubating these people long term? Because what I tend to find is that, as a general rule, we don't. That we talk to somebody, they are interested, and then they forget. And we make fun of our real estate partners for that, because they do a terrible job at it too, oftentimes. And so my encouragement for all of you is to really think about, what is your system to do this, right? how are you going to do this regardless of what that time frame is, whether that time frame is that they're ready to buy now, or whether they're ready to buy in 90 days, whether they're ready to buy in a year, or as Dave said, maybe 3 years. So a great example of that is that I'm in the lab alongside of all of you right now doing annual mortgage reviews. And I got a lot of pushback. I did a free course last year, how to make an extra $100,000 this year. And I got a lot of pushback because people are like, Todd, you've got great tech. So I actually did what I did in a spreadsheet so that anyone could do it. And it was really just a matter of following up with clients. And I've done 2 annual mortgage reviews this week. I've got 2 more today. And I'm learning things just like what Dave said. I talked to a client who said, absolutely, they want to move in 3 to 5 years. They want a house that's 1 story. They're having a baby. I know all the reasons why, because I took the time. Ironically, I used all my exactly what to say conversation with them. It was a 35-minute call. My average is about 25 to 35 minutes with clients on these calls, but I've got a system now where I'm following up with them, but I'm using old school, opposite what Brian's using. And I think what we all probably need is a combination of the two. And so just really think through what is your incubation process and how are you keeping up with clients? And then how can you reconnect them with their realtors, which is a big part of what I'm trying to do when I'm doing these reviews. And so it's definitely a longer game. And so I love, Brian, that you identified we have to be thinking about our mindset as we go into it, because I think that the consumer can feel your mindset through the phone, right? When you're talking to the consumer, they can tell how stressed out you are. If you're like, awesome, hey, I can't wait to help you in 18 months. You know what? That's amazing, right? And we all know that if they tell us it's going to be 18 months, it's probably going to be 9 to 12 months. But, you know,
Right.
again, you've got to be ahead of all of that. And so that would be really my way of kind of counterbalancing what you're talking about with tech, is that we also have to have the low touch, reach out with a text, get on the phone with them and make sure that they understand that we want to be the one who helps them down the road.
Yeah, one of the
So,
ways we think about it. Sorry, Dave, real quick. One of the things we think about, like what you described, Todd, I love everything about that. And I mean, how much do you learn on average in those 20 to 35 minutes? It's like priceless, right? It's, refresh the CRM, but it's also like refreshing, what's the next best thing we could be doing together. What we've been working on a lot with FinLocker, with the consumer side of the app, is taking the actions and the activities and the milestones that the user is doing and achieving inside of our app, and then surfacing that information up in near real time to the originator that's associated with that consumer in the app, so that now when they have that conversation, Todd, that you just described, you can now sprinkle in actually, today, real dynamic information around the consumer's financial life into and align it with their goals and objectives, and kind of bring some more context to the conversation as well.
Love that. Love that. All right, Dave, jump in. I see you
well,
got someone next to you.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Deborah in a minute. We kind of I brought her up to speed on the question at hand and where we're at. But, something I want to kind of go back and forth with you on, Brian, and get Deborah's thoughts on this. And it's playing off of what Phil told us a minute ago, is, hey, we got to put ourselves in the shoes of the customer. Now, I want that borrower to feel like getting a total cost analysis is essential. Like, that's what I want as an innovator and, founder of MortgageCoach. I think it gives value. And it's not a selfish one. I think it's to the benefit of a consumer.
Sure.
I want the loan officer, because we have data services, to, like, hey, I'm going to be monitoring, you, so I can be at the right place at the right time. You want that consumer in FinLocker so that the loan officer can monitor how they're engaging, they're getting value. And to your point, there's all these other apps. There's, Credit Karma, there's Acorn, there's Rocket Money, there's Zillow. And the consumer's there. Like there's a lot of apps. And so I do think, and tell me what you think, Brian, I think it's important that our customers, they know all of the tools that are out there. And that when they're meeting with the consumer, they're like, hey, how are you getting your education? And they're almost auditing. Oh, you use Google. Oh, you have Rocket Money. Oh, you have Credit Karma. Like, you should know that as part of your conversation, so that when you're then describing our products, which are in the loan officer's best interest, you're getting the customer to use you and all the tools that you have a home bot, whatever it is. But if you just go in, and I think our customers too often, they just go right into, I got the best solution for you. And they really, one, don't know the other things that consumers are using, and they don't know what every consumer they're talking to is using to educate and, buy the best home. So one, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I that's another little note I just added to my takeaways. I love that. That line of questioning is awesome.
So here's a question for you, and then I'm gonna have Deborah come in and bring her value. What are, from your perspective, because you've studied this, because in ways all these other apps that consumers are using are your competition.
Yeah.
I want any mortgage coach that's listening to this to know what are all the apps that first-time home buyers are using for education and home ownership readiness. And we got Credit Karma, we've got Rocket Money, we've got Zillow. I added Acorn.
Yeah.
I don't know who the new Mint is, because
It's
I know there's a new Mint.
Credit Karma. They basically rolled out. Yeah.
And then what
they
else?
just
What
rolled
are,
out
give
the
us a list.
budgeting feature.
Okay. So Credit Karma, what else? Give us a list of apps we should know about.
There's a platform called You Need a Budget, YNAB. It's it's an interesting brand product name, but it actually kind of says what it does. They've got pretty good scale users. I always talk about, and it's not knocking, the banks that we all bank with as a consumer, but most of our online banking apps have some data aggregation, budgeting, goal setting features.
That's
So
what I was
you
gonna
know
say.
you've
That's
got
probably the most popular.
which one?
Oh,
The banks. I was
Yeah.
thinking that's probably most, and then mom and dad,
yeah.
Yeah.
especially if they're an authorized user on certain accounts,
There's accounts
can't
like
think of any other
Wealthfront
apps.
that when you have a Wealthfront
Wealthfront?
account, they'll let you aggregate all your other accounts. So there's a lot of financial institutions that'll do it, but it's not what you guys are doing, right? But it is giving them data, which I think data is important, right? That people need to look at their credit, they need to look at their credit
Yeah.
score, they need to see what that debt looks like. And so I think all these tools are important, and it's just a matter of how do we educate our clients to integrate that in alongside of what we do, in order to make sure that they still view us as a financial resource when they have a question like, my homeowners is renewing. I wonder if Todd has a recommendation for me.
Yeah, Todd, that's an awesome reference point. You think about our financial planners that we work with, right? Most of them offer us some kind of a data aggregation tool that benefits us as consumers, right? But guess what? It also benefits our financial planner when we link our accounts that are not with them today into this tool, because it allows that financial planner now to see Brian's entire financial picture and make better, give better advice, give better insights. And so if we think about ourselves as loan officers, as especially for first-time home buyers, as the number one best financial resource that they could ever have, then why wouldn't we also provide our customer with a technology tool that allows us as that best resource to see the consumer's entire financial picture and help them and advise them on what is their largest asset acquisition to date, and then obviously the corresponding liability that goes with that.
And so really the key to that is having a conversation with them so that they understand that that's who you are and what you provide. Number one is you have to be educated, and so you can show that you have that value to the consumer. You have to have be the captain of the wealth team. You have to have built that team of trusted advisors around you so that they understand what your value will be. And then you have to have a resource to remind them who you are, right? And I think email just, it's not great. It can work, it does work, but right now I think that most people have, a Gmail promotions folder and they don't ever go through that. And so they're not necessarily going to see you as much as you would like. So how do you then tell them, hey, remember me, I'm your mortgage person, right? So I stole it from Keith Collins. Keith Collins, when you look at his VCF card, right, the card he texts out to people, it says Keith, mortgage guy Collins. And so when I secretly did loans during COVID, it said Todd, mortgage guy Bookspan, and it still works. I had a woman who just moved to Illinois, and she said, hey, I don't know if you do mortgages in Illinois, but if you do, I'd love you to help my team. Now, we've we've texted her and called her. I haven't talked to her. I've reached out to her a few times about annual mortgage reviews, and she's never taken me up on it, but she still remembered that I was great at what I did, that I was valuable in what I was doing. And she was actually referred by her realtor to other mortgage people that she didn't think were as good as what I provided for. So I think you all have to think about that. And all I just remind my clients is, hey, whenever you have a finance question, regardless of what it is, how big or how small, or someone that is confused around you around a mortgage, even if you can't remember my name, you can just look up mortgage in your phone and you'll find me, Todd Bookspan, mortgage guy. And so I've got a scripted process that I talk about in my coaching of how to make sure that people actually save that to your phone and all the things that go around that. And so I think it's so important. And that's just one of the things I learned early on from you, Dave, is how to become the captain of the wealth team.
Love that. So I'm going to add a few more things for everyone to consider to have on your checklist. So if you're in this community, and I'm going to go through the list one more time. You should understand Credit Karma and how it works. Sounds like they just added a budgeting feature. You should understand Rocket Money, what it does, how it works. Acorn, great saving app. As part of First Home IQ, I'm advocating that 16-year-olds start using Acorn or something like it. I don't know anything quite like it. Zillow, Redfin, all the apps that they use to edutain themselves on home search that also are expanding in terms of the tool sets that they have. You Need a Budget app. How do you spell that again one more time? What's the You Need a Budget app?
YNAB.
Okay, why? Got it. All the bank apps. So go, I recently changed banks. My bank, First Republic, got acquired by Chase. So I did a deep dive over the weekend on the Chase app. And I mean, it's got some cool, I had a banking relationship with Chase, but now they're my core bank, at least for the moment. And I was like pretty blown away with some of the tools that they have. Wealthfront, Todd recommends. Guys, first-time home buyers are digging Robinhood. Robinhood is, I know that there's mixed opinions, and I have friends that are serious investors that don't like it. Now that I've gotten closer to First Home IQ and Gen Z, anything that gets kids smarter on money and investing, micro investing. I mean, I like it. I think if you work with first-time home buyers, you should know about it. Guys, ChatGPT. You should know if you're talking to a buyer that's using ChatGPT, and you as a mortgage professional should start like questions that buyers have. What is ChatGPT going to say? Like you should know that, you should use it. And then of course, last and certainly not least, the G word, Google. Like what is
social media?
Oh God.
Yeah, so
Well, it's a good thing we have Deborah
media.
Byrd.
What's that?
Gen Zs use social media
is that a
more
thing?
than Google. Yeah,
Is that a thing?
kind of a thing. But one thing I wanted to add is, the average first-time home buyer is 35 years old. And when you look at what is going on in their life at that time, it's also when they make the biggest leap in income. So from 25 to 35, they typically end up going above the 100,000, income limit. And we really need to get to them before that. And that's what I love about First Home IQ is it just is a gateway to help educate them before they go buy that big car. Because most of the time they can't qualify to buy. Like the average person rents for 11 years before they buy their first home. And when you dollarize what that actually costs you in net worth, it's like, how do we get to these kids or parents sooner when they're in high school or in college and they're thinking about even just student loans? And and then going to the 35-year-old, it's like, what is going on in their life? Like they're maybe taking that big job and they're filling out tax forms and they don't even know how to fill out those tax forms when they're setting up payroll. And should I do an HFA account? And maybe they're having their first child and they don't even know how to pay the doctor. And they don't, and they fall for those bait and switch 0% interest for 1,000 years. So we've got to have a gateway to get ahead of them before they know that they're ready to buy a home. Which the easiest avenue for that right now is the First Home IQ, or I'm learning a little bit more about FinLocker for the first time. So I apologize. I probably need to have a call with you, Brian, to learn even more because these are tools that I think we've got to get in their hands and the parents' hands, like fresh out of high school and into college. Otherwise, that's when they start making decisions that could derail them in what is preventing them from being able to buy quicker sooner. On top of that, we learned from the tax coach. I was amazed. I didn't know you could give your kids credit cards at such a young age to help
Yeah.
them with establishing credit. I don't know if you know anything about that, Brian, with how parents could help monitor. I don't know if you've seen those like green cards that parents can
Oh,
give to
yeah.
kids to
Green
help with their
light.
bank account. I mean, I really think we need to get that education. Yeah, green light. So we can teach them financial responsibility. And it's something I'm working on with my kids. They both have jobs that, they get fined, when they do something at school or
Yeah.
whatnot. But it's a whole, it's taking what they learn in school and actually applying it and giving parameters so that, when they're 18, they're out of the nest and they could be buying things that, party in college. And how do we get that education to them sooner, faster? Because they don't always know they want to buy yet or know
No.
that it's possible.
So Brian, let's do this because I think it would be a cool way to showcase your platform and describe what you do and how you do it. But let's do it I kind of lean in what we've learned at First Home IQ that 18 is when kids are going to start getting hit up with credit cards. They could take student loans. It is really the beginning of the first time home buyer journey. And if you make the right decisions at 18, you have a better chance of being able to buy in your early 20s. So let's have you describe your app in a way, and let's do it from a social media perspective. Let's say the mortgage professionals are on this call, are using social media, and they're creating some content that is getting, either the parents of 18-year-olds or the actual 18-year-old into a playbook, and your app is part of the playbook. Feel free to weave in the total cost analysis
Oh, yeah.
and what we do wherever you think it fits within the FinLocker journey, and walk us through what is that journey that your app provides to help drive homeownership as young and as fast as possible.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles we could take on this, but I'll try to stay semi-focused, but I think you'll see where it can branch off. And I'll start with social.
And by the way, and real quick, if there's ever a time where you want to share the screen or show your app, don't be shy.
Okay.
Feel free to showcase your platform if you want.
I would, I'll probably describe it and we'll kind of weave through that way. So let's start with social. Everyone's familiar with, what's going on out there. You got people like Deb that are just awesome coaches on this. And then there's practitioners that I follow that I'm just blown away by how they're leaning in with content that is all education based, or edutainment based, depending on their personality, right? And so I think it all starts with, and Deborah, you hit on this, where is this cohort learning today? Well, today they happen to be learning on social. Who knows where they're going to be learning tomorrow, but today it's on social. And so we have a couple clients that we'll keep them nameless, but they're really great use cases.
Do we have to keep them nameless? Can we?
I mean,
name any of your top users? Your top
I would say,
influencers?
there's a brand out there called What's a Mortgage. Minh Nguyen.
Follow Minh Nguyen, everybody. He's a baller. He's a
Yeah.
First Home IQ ambassador, and Sosi, his partner, is a big mortgage coach. Anybody else you want to call out?
So we got the team at NFM Lending. So Greg Scher's team, Scott Betley, Jordan Nutter and the team.
Jordan Nutter, Scott Betley, great people. Make sure you follow them.
So right now, when I'm on, and I'm 56, so I'm not a TikTok guy, but I have TikTok, and the only people I follow are those brands those names I just mentioned, right? I'm following the mortgage influencers that are out there. And so from a use case
Denise Donoghue, the mortgage nerd. Make sure you guys follow Denise Donoghue, the mortgage nerd.
She's definitely on my top list, top of the list there. So what we're seeing in practice is somebody like Min, who will do an education series on the importance of understanding your credit and monitoring your credit, and then using tools to actually be able to simulate actions you might take as a consumer that would impact your credit, both positive and negative. And then his call to action from these education posts is, and we created the free WAM wallet, download it here, right? And so right off of the social media content is his call to action to download the WAM wallet. That's what they their branded version of FinLocker. And so let me just paint this picture real quick, because they're like a really good case study. In May of 2023, the Wham wallet, What's a Mortgage FinLocker app launched, and Minh started doing content that was specific with calls to action to download their app. Fast forward from May of 23 to Feb 24, so 10 months later, they had 5,800 downloads of the app. So these are followers of Minh, What's a Mortgage, that took the action, downloaded the app, created an account. And when someone creates an account in this app, first name, last name, email address, phone number at a minimum is what you now know about them. But then the app also asks questions about, where are you on your journey? Where are you on your home ownership journey? And there's a persona that then gets created based on the answer to that question. That's all information now that the What's a Mortgage team has access to. And so in that 10-month period, in addition to 5,800 downloads, they actually closed 30 purchase mortgage loans from people that started by downloading the app. And so there were people that were closer to being ready than they thought. And the Wham wallet helped them understand, hey, there's a path where I could do something maybe 6 or 3 months sooner than I had planned. The other cool thing that they saw was, of those 30 purchase transactions that they were able to close, they were able to refer 12 of the 30 to a real estate agent in their network, because they were engaged early enough in that process where that consumer was not yet working with a realtor. That was pretty powerful. And so if you think about, the list of branded apps, Dave, that you talked about, the You Need a Mortgage, the Karmas, if you could create infinite social content just focused on those individual tools, credit monitoring, budgeting, goal setting, and the education you're providing may never even say the word mortgage, right? But you're educating on the action of monitoring your credit and creating a budget and tracking your budget. And then if you have your own tool like a FinLocker that is your lead magnet or capture, if you will, that's a way to pull them into your ecosystem, and then start to build a relationship off of that. Dave, you and I have talked about this for going on 4.5 years. There is a world where in the FinLocker experience, we are serving up the total cost analysis where it makes sense for that user based on where they are on their journey, right? And so I'm putting it into the ether once again here on this session, so that our teams that are listening get this thing elevated on the priority list, because we definitely, our platforms, our products, our tools all align on the same mission of really empowering consumers and helping our customers, the lenders and originators, better serve their customers.
Yeah, there's no doubt that if every consumer that got put into your app got a rep versus own, where it's, based on their assumption of what rates are going to do, their assumption of what home appreciation is going to do, their purchase, their rent amount, and we're showing what the impact of their network will be over 2 years, 3 years, and to integrate our two experiences would be valuable for both our mutual customers and, incredibly valuable for consumers. Another thing that you may want to think about, we might want to think about integrating, is the first Home IQ quiz. It's a free online quiz. Guys, we'll put a link down below. Also, for the person that asked a link to all the influencers, we'll put a link. When you watch this in YouTube, we'll have the Instagram link to, I don't know if it will be 6 or 12, but we'll put a link to some of the top mortgage influencers in this post. So if you're watching this in YouTube, it'll be down below in show notes. And I would also push, first of all, every mortgage professional should take the first Home IQ quiz. It's free.
Yes.
It's 20 questions. It'll take you 5-ish minutes. And then check this out, by the way, and I'm going to ask you a question on the follow-up to this. On this last week's, his name was Michael Creed. He was at a first-time homebuyer workshop, and there were like 23-ish people at it. and he told him about the quiz, and he said, hey, you should take this quiz, and like 18 took it. It was like
Nice.
80% took the quiz, and he got all their emails. So part of being a First Home IQ ambassador, and then he was at a financial planner workshop, and there were about 53 financial planners, and he said he talked about the quiz and was kind of advocating that they use it and give it to their clients to share with their kids. And like 47 out of 53-ish financial planner took the quiz. And so one of the things, as I was hearing you out, I was almost kind of like thinking, Phil Jones has this theory that when you're trying to get someone to do something, you have a small ask and you have a big ask.
Yes.
And so I was almost thinking, if I was a social media influencer right now, my small ask would be the First Home IQ free 5-minute quiz.
Yep.
There's no risk in it. Like, what first time home buyer wouldn't want it? And my big ask would be, and if you really want my help, and I don't know exactly what the pitch is, but there's something, download this app and you'll get X, Y, and Z. What are your thoughts on that big ask little? That's a Phil Jones, exactly what to say script, right?
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Yeah, I'm certified.
Not
So,
yet.
self-certified.
No, not even
Self-certified.
close, Dave, but that's all right. You can pretend.
You can come in September.
Okay, well, in September, I'm going to be certified.
We've got some
I love
badasses
that.
signed up, so it's going to be a great room.
From a product, dev perspective, we think all the time about how do we make it easier for consumers to get into the FinLocker, whatever the brand is of FinLocker, right? And so one of the things, Dave, that we're investigating and kind of flushing out is, what can we make available before login that's valuable, right?
First Home
This
IQ quiz,
quiz.
bro.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's already, it's on my notes. The great
And you know,
takeaway.
I'm going to tell Kristen, we should, for the clients that have FinLocker, we should put on the tail end of the quiz a download for the app.
Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah,
You
like we
got
should-
100%. Here's your download the app.
Well, if it's a millennial or a Gen Z, they probably didn't get 100%. They're averaging 57%. But
I
You
got
know,
88
could-
when I
you
took
know-
it the first time. You guys
Well,
you got a
you're in-
tricky question.
you're in the industry. Most people in the industry, I think the low is 88, and most people get. I'm just kidding.
No,
Oh, wow.
it's
It was
you
a
guys
joke.
have
It was
a
a joke.
you guys have a
think I
trick
missed
question in
one.
there.
Yeah, I missed one, but I also took each question and made it a financial literacy post on Friday, just to get a
Yes.
poll for the audience to see what is, because you'd be amazed how many adults, guys, even real estate agents, that don't know some of the answers to these questions. So I think it would be really cool to have, just like you have First Home IQ ambassadors, what if you had a way that whoever scored like in the A range, just like you do with TCAs where they can get black
Ooh,
belt or red belt,
Gamify
wow.
that.
and like make it where, like, if they made an A, maybe we interview them, put them on First Home IQ page and let them, we'll come up with a different word besides ambassador, but like, you want them to kind of work towards growing their IQ. So like
Ninja.
it's a club and a community, and it's
Yeah.
like, because there's organizations and clubs within every school district of, you could be on the entrepreneur route, and they strive for that achievement and they all love the awards. So it's like, what if they had something mailed to them that's like, dude, you are
Love that. So
President's
guys,
Club.
so we only got a few minutes left. I put a link to take the First Home IQ quiz down below. So let's net out FinLocker. First of all, is it something that individual loan officers can use, or is it only enterprises that have to roll this out? How's that work?
Yes. So today we're principally available to loan officers through enterprise. We've got about 30 enterprise clients. We are days, maybe weeks away from launching I'll call it a non-tethered loan officer version of our product. It'll be just a generic brand that we're still working on. But there is a lot of demand for it. And
Can you tell us the price, or tell us, is there a waiting list? If anybody's an individual LO, they're like, hey, I want to check this thing out, or I want to do this, what would they do? Just keep following you on social, or what?
Yeah, they can hit me on LinkedIn, direct message me there, go to our website, finlocker.com. We've got some information forms, but essentially for that untethered loan officer, we're we're finalizing all the details, but it'll be somewhere around $200 a month for a loan officer with no limit on the number of consumers that could be in the app. And we also, a feature of the app allows the originator to coexist. I'll say, I don't like to say co-brand for the compliance people that are out there, but coexist with a realtor or real estate agent partner as well. And they can have a unlimited number of coexisting real estate relationships as well.
Wow. Well, we got to work on the marketing speak there a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
Untethered. But yeah,
Untethered.
the individual.
Well, I was going to say
yeah, so
orphan, but that orphan doesn't sound good
yeah.
either.
Okay. This guy is a product innovator. So it's going to be called the individual, FedLocker product. And for all you loan officers that are working for a company that does not have an enterprise partnership, you just heard it here for the first time, breaking news that this is coming soon. So make sure you follow this man on LinkedIn. By the way, he is a LinkedIn influencer. The content that Brian puts out, it's value. There's a half a dozen people, our mutual friend Greg Shear, and there's more than a half a dozen. There's a dozen, maybe even 20 mortgage leaders that I follow, and it's like my newsfeed. It's like, this is who I learned from: Jeremy Potter, Greg Shear, Brian Hale. I try to work hard to be valuable on LinkedIn. So anyone listening to this, like, this is a guy you want to follow. And it's a platform that I know a lot of what I call modern mortgage professionals. Part of being a modern mortgage professional is you're a badass marketer. And let's face it, in 2024, badass marketers kick ass on social media. That's just kind of like synonymous now. It's no longer like an idea.
Yeah.
So Deborah, since you didn't get to talk the most, anything you want to ask or say in these last 3 minutes?
Well, I just want to say, thank you. And it's nice to, finally meet you via Zoom. I have read your book and have a lot of authors that we've helped just on social with the chapter of their book. Anything that you think that you've seen that's worked well, that people have done on social with blending kind of what they've had with FinLocker, or anything left unsaid that you would like to share?
Yeah, I would say, and you kind of hit on this, Deborah, when you talked about the first home IQ quiz, what you described is taking each question and building content off of that. We have some of our influencer loan officers are taking specific features from the app and creating a series of content around that feature. And so again, without ever saying the word mortgage, we're seeing these loan officers have success building their database by educating and providing value outside of the traditional sense of talking about home buying and financing. So I'm a huge social. I believe in the model. It is every loan officer that's going to be successful going forward is going to be a hybrid consumer direct traditional loan officer, and the consumer direct version is typically going to be through social. And so I think having more content is key, and having things like the First Home IQ platform and quiz is a great example of using something that exists and creating content off of it to drive activity to your funnel.
Well, my closing thought, and then Todd, I'm gonna have you bring it home, win by noon style, is if you're on this, be valuable. The more valuable you can be to first-time homebuyers, the more valuable you will be to realtors. Every realtor in America has never been more recruitable. If you cannot create a mortgage coach, rent versus own, at a level of excellence, you really don't, you're missing it in this market. Todd, why don't you wrap it up, win by noon style, brother?
Well, I never want to contradict something you say, but Sean Donoghue said that he believes every realtor in America is recruitable, but now he's competing against the best of the best. He said that the rest of the people have left the business, and now when he's competing against all of you great loan officers. So remember that you need to up your game when competing. And so I would just say 3 things maybe, and Dave, we can probably have some conversations on this and full calls coming up. Number 1 is you've got to have a tech and a touch process to keep in touch with your clients that you've served in the past, as well as your leads that might take up to 3 years to buy. And if you don't have that, then you're going to lose out. Number 2 is you've got to be crystal clear on what your value proposition is. I'm in a process between now and the end of the year of acquiring 40 great real estate relationships for my team. I've gotten 2 in the past 2 weeks from using First Home IQ as my value prop. And so you've got to be really comfortable with A, knowing exactly what to say and how to say it in front of a room of people and one-on-one. And then B, you've got to understand what the value prop is, because everyone left is talking about 2-1 buy downs. Everyone left is talking about DSCR loans. Everyone left is talking about what you're talking about and how can you differentiate yourself. So I would just say the final thing is really thinking about something like First Home IQ and how it can differentiate you, not just with your potential clients, but also with your real estate agent partners and how that can help you build more relationship. When I talked about First Home IQ and exactly what to say in front of a room of realtors, I got 5 of them to show up to my exactly what to say certification. And I had 3 of them who want to become involved in First Home IQ. Guess what? Those are all future opportunities for my team. But more importantly, more people out there that are going to say things with more specificity in a better way. And we're also going to have more people out there talking about first-time home buyers, talking about financial literacy to kids in high school and college. And so those are the things I'm super passionate about. So I don't know if that was my best wrap up, Dave, but that's what I got.
I think it was a pretty damn good wrap up. So I
Love it.
hope everybody got value. Give us a little reaction on the way out. Give us thumbs up, give us a heart, whatever value you got from today's call. This will be in YouTube within hours. Remember, every Friday, 9 o'clock, we're masterminding with just awesome leaders that are helping mortgage and real estate professionals be more valuable. That is how you win. Every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I'm interviewing someone amazing, a top producer. So check that out. And remember to follow savageinsights.com. That is my website. I update that every couple days. So whatever's coming next will be at the top of Savage Insights. And if you're not part of Savage Insights Mobile Club, there is a number that if you just text that a couple times a week, I'm putting out what I think are the most important messages to be a modern mortgage and a modern real estate professional. A recording of this will be sent out later today. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And this is a wrap. Brian, you're a badass. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, brother. Be good.
Take care.